What's going on, guys? So I am here at Dr. Hsu's office in North Carolina, in Charlotte, and today I'm going to find out if I'm going to need another surgery or not, and see how my leg's doing. I had to get a 3D reconstruction CAT scan done on my leg. You know, my management team wanted me to, see what's going on in there, get some different opinions, and there's a lot of different opinions coming at me right now. But Dr. Hsu is my guy, so I really want to see what he thinks, if I have to get another surgery or not. Here we go.
This is at the top of the slot. It's what's called the dynamic position for this screw. So what it means is that this rod can move. It's the only thing that's seeing the weight. The rod doesn't.
Oh, really? So
it's already dynamized.
When I do pound on it, it is bone to bone.
Right. So you see this long slot.
Yep.
So the screw sits in that slot.
Yep.
And so this can already move up and down, and so the bones are compressed. You have more than one cortex. It's already healed even early on in the process.
Okay.
So here's the other view. So and so let's start from, this is on the inside.
Start from the medial side.
Start from the medial side, exactly. And so on the medial side, you can't even really see the break.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of see something a little bit here,
mm-hmm.
but it looks really, really good. And now here's what you see. This is the callus. So this is outside the bone. It's starting to bridge. So even that area in the back, remember we said there was a line in the back? Your body's starting to throw bone beyond that as well.
Okay.
And so, and here's the part that looked the worst in the other view.
Yeah. But
look at the front here. It looks really good.
Gotcha. Now, as far as primary healing versus just like the callousing,
so here's the missing piece there.
Yeah. Is it going to get to the point where it's primary bone healing, or the rod is going to be a big part of like not needing primary bone healing?
So the way that this fracture heals with this construct is it's almost exclusively secondary bone healing.
Okay.
So it actually, and the nice thing about that is secondary bone healing actually gives you a big, robust callus. So it gives you a big scar bone, and so it becomes very, very strong.
Gotcha.
Because bending strength of a bone is related to the diameter, or actually the radius to the fourth power. And so the wider the bone is, the stronger it actually is. And so it actually heals with calluses. So you end up with a very, very robust healing there. And so I think the tibia is going to be fine without any intervention for the tibia.
Okay.
Except maybe this.
Yeah.
This has always concerned me since day one.
Yeah.
If you were not a combat athlete, I would not even look at it.
Yeah.
But just
like getting kicked and kicking and pushing.
Yes. Yes.
So tibia, other than the bone fracture, the butterfly fracture, with kicking, pushing, everything I need to do athletically, you think I'm good other than that butterfly fracture?
Yep. And I would tell you at this point, with this degree of healing, I would not limit you at all on your tibia. I mean, you can do high impact activity on the tibia now.
Okay. Butterfly fracture, is that something that, if we're just talking about the tibia for now, is that something that you would do pretty soon here, or to take that out?
Yeah, this can come out at any point.
Yeah.
Depending on what we discuss about the fibula.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I think that's something where the timing of that's going to be important, just based on we want it to heal without interrupting your recovery, but we don't want to intervene so early on where, I mean, you're in a very rapid recovery point right now.
Yeah.
And so we want to kind of get you where a steady state, your strength is up, we rehabbed your knee enough, your strength's up, your cardio's getting up, and then we can take out that little piece of bone and it won't be as much of a bump.
Okay.
Whereas now, because you're on that steep slope of recovery, I'm a little worried about the intervention now.
How long of a recovery would that set me back for, you think?
Oh, that's short. I mean, it would just be a couple weeks.
Okay, gotcha.
But a couple weeks when you're more steady state are very different than a couple weeks when you're on this really steep part.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, I think I'm good on the tibia. Let's move on.
All right, let's switch gears now. So looking over at the fibula.
Now this is still the
So this is the little bone.
Yes.
Where that came out.
Yeah.
Right there. So looking through that, this one is not healing as rapidly as we'd love.
Yeah.
And so this is the difference between the x-ray and the CT scan. So you look at an x-ray and it looked like it was thickening up and it looked pretty good, but then I look at the CT scan, you can kind of see right through that area.
Yeah.
So this is not healing as great as it should.
Yeah.
It's still early, but again, just like we talked about the timing on that little fleck of bone, we don't want to wait too long and then have a recovery issue if we decide, hey, let's put a plate on that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't want to put a plate on it if we don't need to.
Yeah.
And you'd heal it on your own anyways, especially because that wound was problematic.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want to do is have a wound infection, have a surgical site infection, and you're really set back. And so I think that's the one we need to make a decision on.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to make a decision on that is say, all right, this is our window. This is the time frame when we say, hey, look, we're either going to do something or not.
Yeah.
In this window.
Gotcha. What does that look like? A plate on the fibula. How many? What's the recovery time, and how do you do that?
Recovery time is probably a couple of months.
Yeah.
On the plate and the fibula,
Good.
because it's a real incision.
Yeah. Where would you go for that?
I would probably avoid this wound and try and come in front of it. I'd probably come here.
Gotcha.
And then try and stay out of this. I might even come a little more anterior, just to stay a little bit further away from this.
How many screws go in there?
Probably 3 above, 3 below. Maybe put one obliquely through it to try and lag it a little bit to get some.
So about 3 weeks ago, I noticed my leg was kind of plateauing, just painful when I walk and wasn't really progressing. So my management team had the x-rays, basically some doctors, prominent doctors, without mentioning names, got a hold of my x-rays, and I started getting some different opinions on what's going on in my leg. And one of the major things that they were saying is that they thought my tibia bone may have not been compressing enough to where it's going to heal like primary bone healing, because they thought maybe the rod might be too long and the screws are keeping the bones from compressing the right way to actually heal. The other concern by looking at the x-rays was that the fibula wasn't unionizing the right way for it to be able to heal. So they were talking about possible surgery. So I ended up having to get a 3D reconstruction CAT scan, which took like 2 weeks to get done, which was annoying to be in limbo. I thought I was healing right and I was on my way to recovery, and then come to find out I possibly need a surgery, but then I can't get a legit opinion until I get this CAT scan done. So having to wait that long has been a pain in the ass. But today, it was the first doctor, Dr. Hsu, was able to see the CAT scan in on the disc to get a legit look at what's going on in my leg. And he thinks my tibia bone is fine, and thinks that the screws, they're diamantized screws, so the screws allow movement, so the bones can hit. But unfortunately, there's a butterfly fracture right on the front of that tibia bone that he's going to have to take out. So he's going to have to go and do a surgery just in that region, but he thinks the tibia bone is healing fine. He thinks the fibula bone is not unionizing correctly, so that is going to need a plate where they're going to have to go create an incision and plate over the fibula bone and put that together. So this is my first opinion. The doctors from UfC now have to give me what they think after seeing the CAT scan, and we're going to have a couple of doctors check it out. But unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to be heading back into surgery here pretty soon. I kind of expected setbacks to happen during this recovery process. I didn't necessarily think that I was going to have to get another surgery and be set back this much, but I feel like God has a plan for me, and I'm going to stay positive. Keep a positive outlook on everything, and just do the best I can every single day and recover as fast as I can. And then at the end of the day, in the next week or two here, I gotta have to make a pretty serious decision on if I'm getting surgery or what kind of surgery I'm getting. And unfortunately, this is not like an ACL where you get like, 2 different ways to fix an ACL and that's it. And there's not too many different opinions you're going to be dealing with if you have a torn ACL. But when your leg basically blew up like mine and you have all this different trauma, each leg break is different. So you get all these different opinions on how to fix it, and nobody's really wrong. So it really is going to come down to me on what I think is best for me to do. And so obviously I have extra pressure and I have to really make a big decision here. But either way, I'll get through it. I want to say I really appreciate everybody's prayers and thoughts and just support during this time. And this is just part of my story. It will make my story even better when I come back. Having to deal with this, it's just going to motivate me even more to come back from a even tougher situation than I originally thought. So thank you again for following and paying attention to my story. And I will just keep grinding and doing everything I can in my control to get back to that octagon as fast and as healthy as I possibly can. Thank you.